People were waiting on pins and needles for that sentencing to come down. Now, I noticed just the tone of the room when Alec walked through that door. This was the first time we've seen him in a jail jumpsuit. He walked through that door and basically the room fell completely silent. Not even 4 hours that they came to that decision. People were camping out for hours. I mean, there were people I talked to that got here at 2 or 3 in the morning and they had to stay there until about noon when the jury came back from their field trip from Moselle. We're gonna go ahead and try some okra. Now, I had to modify it because I have celiac, so can't do the fried okra, but we're gonna try this. Okay, I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10, but it's probably better fried. She had the fire marshal calling her because this tree fell on this above power line and actually sparked a fire. So they first had to put out the fire. It caved into the roof and there's flooding inside the building as well. Energy in here, I have to say, is absolutely electric, and it's built over the last hour or so. Buster, his facial expression, he looked very just depressed, hopeless. You know, he kind of had this glance like he didn't know what was next. What sounds like fireworks almost is what we're hearing out here as those huge limbs just fall and crash to the ground. So please be safe out there. Please do not go outside. Do not drive if you don't have to. It's freezing conditions out here, freezing rain.
You've talked to a lot of Gamecock fans this entire journey. What were some of their emotions like? And I know you also talked to some parents of the players as well. I know they had to be ecstatic that the Gamecocks are national champs once again. Yeah, absolutely. Ecstatic is a good word to describe it. Even emotional. Just an absolute tragedy that happened here last night. You can see this entire stairway is totally burnt to a crisp. There's debris all over the floor. This is Elizabeth, who I'm with, and she's a big USC Gamecocks fan. So, Elizabeth, tell me, what are emotions like seeing this parade, seeing it all in action?
Oh my God, I am excited.
According to South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, he and his staff have been in contact with law enforcement about this incident here at the Wateree Hydro Station. You could call me the gator expert. I've been out here today and yesterday, and I've seen this gator pop up a few times. He seems to be pretty mellow. I've seen him kind of swimming over in the water over here. No bond for Amari Smith, the third suspect in the Columbiana Center Mall shooting. According to the solicitor from Lexington County, he turned himself into police Wednesday afternoon. The judge called him a danger to the public and a flight risk after being wanted the past several days. People here at Lake Murray gather together every summer at Sandy Beach to raise money for the homeless. And as you can see, there are just tons of boats that are lining this shoreline. More testimony and evidence was presented in court today here in the double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh. Some items of note: a 3D replica of the crime scene presented by prosecution. Also, the suggestion of 2 shooters by the defense. And lastly, gun and ammo evidence presented by the prosecution found at Moselle. The double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh began Monday where it left off last week with SLED crime scene investigator Melinda Worley on the stand. This time, though, the defense was cross-examining her. Dick Harpootlian from Murdaugh's defense team questioned her about bloody footprints determined to belong to a law enforcement officer at the scene. He then went on to ask her about the angles of the bullets that struck Maggie and Paul. He repeatedly suggested this may indicate there could have been 2 shooters. After pressing her about it, he got her to say she couldn't rule it out as a possibility. The prosecution fired back, confirming with Worley that a diagram she drew of the shooting was not to scale, and that another possibility could have been one person carrying 2 guns and/or moving to 2 different locations to shoot the victims Maggie and Paul. Alex Murdaugh's clothes on the night of the murder were also brought into question, with Worley confirming that a blood test done by them, known as an LCV, doesn't determine whether a stain is bleach, rust, or human blood. Next, SLED Special Agent Jeff Croft was brought to the stand for questioning. Creighton Waters with the prosecution walked Croft through the body camera footage of Croft searching the Moselle property for guns and ammunition on June 13th and again on the 16th.
Again, looking for any firearms, shells, shell casings that could be tested for a potential weapon used during a crime.
Croft then identified one AR-15 style gun and 4 shotguns that he took from the Moselle gun room as evidence. He also explained finding 300 blackout-style unused ammunition and used shell casings, as well as spent and unspent 12-gauge shotgun shells and boxes of empty ammunition in the trash.
Did y'all keep any guns out at the kennels?
We didn't keep guns out there, but there were always guns out there.
Okay.
You know? I mean, and I'm going to be honest with you, we were all a little bit bad about it, but Paul was the worst. You know, he was the worst.
He would leave a gun out there?
He would leave anything, anywhere.
Something else of note is today is the first day we've seen Alan Wilson, the Attorney General for South Carolina, in the courtroom for this trial. Now, Judge Clifton Newman says that proceedings will begin again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Reporting in Walterboro, Rachel Ripp, News 19, WLTX. Stuck in the grass, filled with rainwater, litter lines the streets of Chapin, and this new group calling themselves Litter Warriors have had enough. To give you an idea, they've picked up 850 full bags of trash since March.
Together we have been just inviting other people, and it got to be the point where we had like 20 people, and I'm like, maybe I need a group on Facebook to do this, and so that's what we did. We made a Facebook group, and now we have about 125 people in the group.
They have long-term goals.
As we move over, we get people from that area to volunteer. And so as we can get more volunteers from Valentine and Irma, we'll move towards Columbia, and that's our goal.
The idea is to make trash pickups normal until they're no longer needed.
Hopefully the community will see that there's bags on the road, that it's free of litter and debris, and they'll keep it that way and be happy that their community now is free of litter and beautified, so to speak.
Just today, in the span of 2 hours, they filled 15 bags on Meadowlark Road.
SCDOT and the folks that pick up in the Valentine area, the Adopt a Highway, we call, and they are amazing. They come right out and pick up the bags.
Litter Warriors, taking out the trash 1 bag at a time. Reporting in Chapin, Rachel Ripp, News 19 WLTX. Brian and his wife Ann live off of Somerset Drive in Chapin. They tell me they heard the boating accident late at night 2 weeks ago.
You could hear it, but it was 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. That's the pylons and the 2x4s that were broken off from the guy when he ran through.
Since then, they, along with other neighbors, say safety needs to be a bigger priority on the lake. For their part, the Halls say they've added a buoy in front of their dock.
I have a ball out there to keep them from being so fast coming in the wake. I've almost had people hitting my dock at night.
The Hall family tells me wakes have been taking a toll in their cove. A wake is the wave created by a boat as it displaces water.
There's just so much traffic on this lake. There's so many houses now. There's no restrictions on horsepower, which I would love to see that. I mean, even if it's 300.
Boating safety advocate Morgan Kaiser is working with state lawmakers on legislation aimed at saving lives on the water. In 2019, Kaiser's dad died, and her mom lost a leg in a boating accident.
We can put legislation into place. We have all of the people out there. We have the fire department, we have sheriff's departments, we have DNR out there. Everybody's working together, and there are laws in place. But unless you take your safety and other people in the waterway safety into your own hands, all of those things are for nothing.
According to DNR, in 2021, there were 15 accidents reported on Lake Murray, with 17 injuries. That's compared to 2 accidents and 1 injury on Lake Wateree in the same year. The state agency says lake signage can be requested through Dominion Energy, and requests for no wake zones are handled on a case-by-case basis.